Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike Danaher, an Assistant Attorney General with the New York State Attorney General's Office. It's a pleasure to be out here today with you at Cornell Cooperative Extension for our monthly Consumer Issues program. Many of you who've watched this before know that we do this on the second Thursday of the month from 11 a.m. We have a presentation from 11 to about 12, and then from 12 to 1, I'm here to answer any consumer-related questions that people may have if they come in from the outside. That said, I encourage all of you to come down and join us. We'd be glad to have you. You can ask your questions, maybe something that I haven't thought about before. Raise those questions, and then we can answer them and hopefully reach a whole broad audience. Today's topic is kind of a generic topic of updates in consumer frauds that are out there. And I thought today that I would kind of give you what some of the top consumer fraud issues that have presented themselves over the last year or so. Our office, the Attorney General Snyderman, has issued he issues every year a release on what the top 10 types of complaints that our office receives. And there are other organizations that also put out lists of what is out there. And I thought it would be a good idea at this stage of the year to talk about those things, principally for the reason that if you understand what's going on out there, you are less likely to become victims of frauds and scams. Our office issued a top 10 frauds of 2016 earlier this year. And topping the list are internet-type complaints. Would seem to make sense. Internet service and internet service providers, data privacy, which is a big thing, and security, and other types of consumer frauds that occur over this thing called the internet. One of the top frauds related to internet is identity theft, in that people are out there trying to have us provide them with information about ourselves so they can then go out and get loans in our name, credit cards in our name, try to get a hold of our bank accounts, try to infiltrate our computers so that they can try and mask themselves as us, and then try to approach other people who may think that they are dealing with us when in fact they're dealing with the scam artists. And a large percentage of complaints came into our office over the last year related to internet issues. The next issue that we've received a lot of complaints about, and I know historically we do receive a lot of complaints related to these, are automobile complaints. Buying, leasing, repairing, service contracts, rentals of automobiles. That's a broad category that we receive a lot of complaints from. Next is consumer-related services. It might be security systems, restaurants, catering service. We lump within that consumer-related service tech repairs, separate from what the internet issues would be. Next area, we receive a lot of these complaints in the Binghamton Regional Office, and we do receive a lot of complaints from the Ithaca area related to it, and that are landlord-tenant disputes. We have a whole session out here. Actually, we have 2 sessions out here every year dealing with landlord-tenants' rights and responsibilities. Those issues seem to always be present, and we just have to be aware of those, and we'll talk about those in a little more detail as we go on. We also receive a lot of complaints related to utilities, and we can lump in with those utilities the typical ones that we think about, which are energy services and energy suppliers, cable, satellite, phone service, and we also throw into that category wireless phone service, so the cellular phone service. And I know that a lot of us now are using wireless service for internet providers as well. And again, we receive a lot of those complaints. And we also have a lot of those types of complaints, to the extent that we actually have a whole session here at Cornell Cooperative Extension on the use of the internet. Another big area that we have complaints about are with credit. It could be a whole host of credit. One side being the acquisition of credit, loans and credit cards and that sort of things. But also the other end of it, which is collecting on outstanding credit. Debt collectors and that sort of thing. Debt settlement companies, those that portray themselves as being there to help you try to settle your outstanding debts. There are a lot of complaints related to that. Repairing credit, as well as credit reporting agencies, and also lumped into that category are issues related to identity theft. Retail sales has fallen down a little bit on the list, but it is complaints related to the sale of goods, be clothing, food, rent-to-own places where people are renting furniture, computers, anything like that, usually larger ticket items that they have issues with the service that they're being provided for on this rent-to-own. And it's typically where they go in and they rent a sofa with the idea that if you rent it for a certain period of time, once you've made enough payments, that you ultimately will own it. We also get a fair number of complaints in the area of home repairs and construction. We see those all the time. We're in the middle of the summer right now, so we're having a lot of people doing home repairs and home construction. And so we have many complaints concerning home improvement services. And like some of the other topics that we just talked about, we have a whole session here at least once a year on home improvement, home repair, and that sort of thing. We have complaints related to mortgage, mortgage nullifications, mortgage and loan broker fraud that may be occurring. We've had complaints about mortgage or home loan repair. Companies that are out there that can represent that they are there to help you and they can correct you. They can help correct an issue that you might have with your mortgage, that you can't seem to make the payments, or you're behind, you want to get it straightened out. Kind of along the debt settlement realm, we get complaints related to that. And number 10 topic of complaints that our office has received has dealt with mail order, people ordering and receiving things through the mail. These are all topics that our office attempts to mediate through our consumer mediation program. I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. Our office does offer a consumer mediation program whereby you can file complaints with our office relating to any consumer issue between a consumer and a business. Examples, tenants, somebody buys something on the internet and didn't receive it, car repairs, anything related to a business. If somebody has a complaint, they can contact our office, either call us or go on the internet, look up the New York State Attorney General's Office, Consumer Complaints, and you can fill out a consumer complaint form. For those of you in Ithaca, you will want to look for the Binghamton Regional Office complaint form, because that's the office that mediates this particular region. If you were to download and send in the consumer complaint form that's the main consumer complaint form, that has the Albany address in it. And if you send it to Albany, it'll eventually work its way back to Binghamton. But if you want to save a little bit of time, make sure that you download the Binghamton complaint form. Or if you can't locate that and you have the general consumer complaint form that has the Albany address, just look up or call our office, look up our address, and actually mail it in physically to the Binghamton address so that we can try to assist you with that as soon as possible. Our office offers tips also related to these different topic areas of complaints. For example, with internet, We're always dependent, or we're becoming more and more dependent on reliable internet service. So if you have questions or complaints related to your internet plan, make sure that first of all you look into it a little bit, see if you're signed up for the plan that is most appropriate for you. That's an individual decision. Some people may need stronger or more robust download or upload plans, which depending on the service can cost more money. Make sure that you choose the plan that's appropriate for you. Also, there are ways to check your internet service to see if you are getting the speed that you are paying for. You can check with your internet service provider. Also, there are services online that you can check and see what your download and upload speeds are. I know our office has been involved in litigation with Spectrum Time Warner. Started out as Time Warner before the Charter communication transfer took place, but it's ongoing with Spectrum, related to people paying for higher internet speeds that they were not achieving. One issue is that the equipment that the consumer had was not capable of getting or producing the higher internet speeds, yet they were paying for that, and our office is in the middle of being involved in that. This past year marked the 30th anniversary of New York's new and used car lemon laws. Seems like it was just yesterday, but it's been 30 years now. And it provides legal remedies available to buyers and lessees of vehicles that turn out to be lemons. We talk about this in our auto purchasing and repair program that we put on each year. But just as an overview, the new and used car lemon law, there's two different ones. The new car lemon law, that's for vehicles essentially up to 18,000 miles. And then used car vehicles, which gradually go up to 100,000 miles. And the warranty that's associated with each is a little bit different. But the New York law has a setup where a person who buys a vehicle which does not conform with the new or used car lemon law, and that where the manufacturer in a new car situation or the dealer in the used car situation is given an opportunity to correct that defect. And if the defect cannot be corrected in a reasonable period of time, then the consumer is entitled to get their money back or a new car. It's easier in the new car situation because it'd be a brand new car. But in a used car situation, it'd be a like kind and quality of a new car. But typically, what consumers would ask for is their money back, and they're entitled to get their money back if they can establish that the manufacturer or the dealer was unable to repair the car after a reasonable number of repair attempts. So I would direct your attention to that. There's also information available on the Attorney General's website. Dealing with new and used car lemon law, we have a booklet for new car lemon law and a booklet for used car lemon law. And you can look up that and give you some guidance. It also includes forms for the filling out an arbitration program request to where you could have a hearing but for an arbitrator to determine that you are entitled to a refund under the lemon law. Consumer-related services rely on all types of services from day to day, from snow repair to home repair, snow removal to home repair to party planning to wedding planning to you name it. There's all types of consumer-related services. The important thing is be a good consumer. Make sure you get a written contract for all services. In the home improvement realm, you must receive from the home improvement contractor a written contract of which you can then see what your rights are and what is expected to be done and the time frame within which it's to be done. Make sure everything is set forth in that contract so that it will govern how your transaction goes. Landlord-tenant disputes, we have many of those. In fact, we have so many complaints related to returns of security deposits that we actually have just a rent security deposit complaint form that people can fill out and send in. So if anybody has an issue related to that, please send it in. Utility, wireless, and residential phone service. It's a common complaint related to these contracts. Make sure you know what you need, and I'm talking in particular to wireless or to cellular service, because the plans evolve over the years. I mean, I can remember when I first got a cell phone. When I first got a cell phone, it wasn't those ones that you could carry around. It was one that was attached to my car. They were called car phones, not cell phones. Now they're cell phones. And I remember that you pay, there was a monthly charge, and then you paid like 10 cents a minute to use the things. So you could really rack up a huge bill with those sorts of things. Now that's kind of morphed over to where phones now were just not for calling anymore. In fact, many times people don't even use them to call. They're on it to do their internet stuff. And so there's data plans associated with it. And the important thing is for consumers to figure out what it is that they need and get the appropriate service to fulfill those needs. Because just to show you how it's morphed over from that 20 cents a minute or 10 cents a minute for cellular phone, the car phones, to where we are today, it actually moved through to where when I eventually morphed over to a cell phone, I didn't have any data. And of course, then I morphed over to where I have data on my cell phone. Now we have 5 cell phones in our family, and all have data. And it was a point where when I first got data on my phone, I had unlimited data. It was part of the deal. And then as I got new phones, I'd have to sign a new contract to where you could include in your, there was included in your contract, when you signed a new 2-year contract, you got a cell phone as a part of your deal. You get a new phone, so when it was time for a new phone, it was time for a new quote-unquote cell phone plan. And it was all included in the plan. Sign up for this plan, X number of dollars a month, and we throw in it a cell phone. Well, that kind of got morphed away to where when I went for my last cell phone upgrade, the cell phone was not included as part of the plan, and you have to buy your cell phone separately and then pay for your plan. Now, you could buy it separately and add to your monthly plan the charge of $35 a month for your cell phone for 2 years or whatever it is. Or you could buy it outright or whatever, and then you get your plan. But when I went to sign up for the plan, I was told, we don't have unlimited data plans anymore. So you now have to configure what your data plan was. That didn't make me too happy, but I did it anyway, and we set up. And we set it up because I have 5 cell phones with my family. We set it up so we had this kind of family plan with a certain amount of data that we got and that whole. Well, many of you who may have been out recently looking at cell phones and cell phone plans or been reading the news, because of competition, all the companies have now brought back unlimited data plans for a certain amount per month. Well, that may not be appropriate for you because it's not cheap to have an unlimited data plan. And they still have these other plans that don't require unlimited data. There's a limited amount of data, but it's less expensive. So we've morphed from paying per call to having data with unlimited plans, to not having data with unlimited plans, and now having data with unlimited plans again. And it's going to continue to morph as we go along. They say that people are moving more and more towards using mobile for their data, less people using their computers, they're using their phones. So we're going to see this whole technology thing move on. So it falls back to the same thing we've been talking all along. We have to be good consumers. Decide what works best for you. You may not need an unlimited data plan because you only check Google every once in a while, or you check your Facebook every once in a while. You don't use it for heavy searching Or you might use Wi-Fi for your cell phone, so you don't need the data because you're riding off a Wi-Fi plan. So you may say, well, I only need 5, based on my history of usage, I only need 5 gigs of data. And for, I'll just grab a number, $20 a month, you can have all of that in there. Whereas you don't need to pay $45 a month to have the unlimited data plan. The important thing is that we be good consumers. Decide what it is that we need and use that accordingly. It's always good to be a good consumer. Credit is a very valuable thing. Nowadays we're buying cars, and cars are really expensive. Even high mileage cars are getting to be thousands of dollars. And so we have to be very careful about keeping our credit as pure as possible. So it's important that we keep on top of our credit, especially when you're talking about frauds that are out there now, prevalent, that are things like identity theft, where people are stealing our identities. And one of the big areas where they hit us in identity theft is credit, is going out and getting credit cards in our name, maxing the credit cards out, and then ruining our credit. And then when we go to get credit, we can't have it. And there are ways to stay on top of those things. I know that in some instances, I know one of the credit cards that I have, with my credit card statement every month, they give me for free, because I wouldn't pay for it, my credit score, my FICO score, which is one of it's called the Fair Isaac credit score, which is a common credit score that's used by people who are going to be giving us credit. Banks look at them, credit card companies look at them. And I get that every month. And I take a quick look at it to make sure that there hasn't been any marked decrease in my credit score. I also review every credit card statement that comes in every month and make sure that every charge that's on our credit card is a charge that we incurred. The best way that we do that is we save every credit card receipt that we receive. Whether we go out to dinner or we buy something in the store. I just was at the store earlier this morning and bought something and didn't have the cash with me, so I made, it was a small purchase, it was under $10. And I used my credit card and kept the credit card receipt. And I put it in an envelope, and then every month my wife takes the credit card bill and then takes the envelope that we keep our credit card receipts in and matches it. She just checks it. Checks, circles ones that we may not have a receipt for. For example, we might buy something on the internet and I didn't print off a receipt or anything. I should probably just write it down, but sometimes I don't, and stick it in the envelope. Then she circles it, and then we double check at the end of the month for the ones that are circled to see if we can jog our memory to see if we made a purchase and maybe didn't keep a copy of the receipt. And if we can't figure out what it was that we bought, I will get on the phone and call my credit card company and say, hey, I don't recall making a purchase here. It's not an inconvenience for them. That's why they're there. They want to keep on top of these sorts of things. And they will research it. And I'll get a note in the mail from them down the road several weeks later saying, we went back to the merchant to find out what this charge was, and it was for this. And more likely than not, it'll then jog our memory to say, oh, yeah, that's right, we bought this thing at this place, and we didn't recognize it, and everything is good. But if there comes a time when it is not something that we charged, that we could be at the start of an identity theft where somebody was trying to use our credit card, the credit card company can shut the card down. Credit card companies are getting much better at that. I just recently had a call from my credit card company that was for something that was very small. Again, under $10. And it was, I can't recall off the top of my head where it was. I want to say it was like CVS or something. That I don't know how that would trigger them to call me. They called me, they sent me an email, and they sent me a text message because they have all my contact information saying, we're going to be contacting you. There's this unusual charge on your credit card, and we would like to talk to you about it. And it turns out it was not a charge that I authorized or that we purchased. And the credit card company immediately shut our credit card down and sent us new credit cards. And it could have gotten much worse if we let the thing go. So it's important. Review your credit card statements when they come in each month. Make sure every charge is yours. And I would say the same thing with your bank statement. I balance my checking account. We have two. I balance both of them every month. Doesn't take me very long to do it. And I make sure that every withdrawal, every check, everything that's drawn against that account is ours or has been ours. And that way we go a long way toward protecting ourselves and protecting our credit. There are other entities out there besides our office that actually keeps records of what types of frauds and scams and things that are out there. And recently I saw a list for the top 10, actually it was top 20, list of scams and frauds in 2017. It was a report that was issued by www.consumerfraudreporting.org. And it compiled a list using consumerfraudreporting.org as well as the FTC and fraud.org and the Better Business Bureau to put together a list of the different frauds and scams that are out there. What they came up with the scams and frauds that are throughout the United States. Number one was debt collection frauds. People calling us saying, hey, you owe a debt. Repeatedly calling, trying to threaten with ruining credit, threaten with arrest for payment of debts. It is illegal to threaten someone with arrest for collecting a debt because there's no such thing as a debtor's prison. And so anyone who receives a call such as that, you should disregard. You should hang up the phone if somebody's threatening you with arrest. And it is simply a scam that is out there. Other complaints falling within that category are credit card or debit card fees, payday loans. Those are loans that are short-term, high interest rate loans, which are illegal in New York, that are supposed to be repaid. And what ends up happening is that the interest rate is so high and people get so caught up in them that they can't get them paid off, and the thing just snowballs. It gets larger and larger and larger. Credit repair companies, some things that we already talked about before. Also, another number two on their list is fake government officials, and that's your classic call from the IRS saying that you owe taxes and that you are going to be arrested if you don't pay the taxes. It could be done by a telephone call, it could be done by an email, a letter, or something else. They instruct you to wire Western Union or MoneyGram or go out to a local store and get cash cards. Who ever heard of having to pay an IRS debt? Going to Walmart and getting a cash card to pay for it. That doesn't make any sense off the top of my head, because how would you or anyone be able to keep a record that if there was this debt, that it was paid when you use a cash card for it? It doesn't work that way. The IRS never, ever will demand payment over the telephone. You'll usually get a letter for them. Usually have to go and meet with them meet with an IRS agent to discuss those sorts of things. So if you receive any of that, claims it's from the FBI or IRS, it is not. It is a scam. It's a prevalent scam, and disregard it. One of their big, number 3 was identity theft, and that includes phishing. Phishing is P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, phishing, meaning they're trying to hook you to give them personal information about yourself. Do not fall for it. Do not give out personal information such as Social Security numbers, date of births, mother's maiden names, any of those things, your address, telephone number. Don't give out anyone any of that information. Also, credit card numbers, bank account numbers. Don't give that out to someone who contacts you, no matter who they say they are, whether they claim they're from your bank, whether they claim that they're from law enforcement, whether they claim from your credit card company. Do not give out personal information to someone who contacts you. Similar things such as other scams and frauds, phone scams, that could be anything. It could be somebody trying to fish and get personal information from you, but it could also be sweepstakes frauds. Congratulations, Mrs. Smith, you just won X number of dollars in the XYZ lottery. Congratulations. In order to claim your prize, all you have to do is wire out some sum of money. Or it may not be as obvious as this. In order for us to get our prize to you, all we have to do is get your Social Security number so that we can report the winnings to the IRS. So you have to declare it as income. Do not give out personal information to someone who contacts you. Another one is loan scams, false promises of businesses to help you get loans, to bring loans current because you have your credit is bad. Any type of contact to repair your credit or to charge you a fee for repairing your credit. Do not respond to those. Internet merchant scams. We're all starting to purchase things online nowadays, and it's not delivered, or it's not what they claim it was, or the item is defective. With online shopping, it's important to stick with reputable companies who are known in the industry, or who are the online branch of reputable retailers. Once you start dealing with people who are entities who are not ones that you know of, you can start getting yourself into trouble. Another top complaint are automobile-related complaints. We talked about that with the Attorney General's complaints as well. Credit bureaus and related credit scams, again, another one. Phishing, spoofing emails, that's an important one that's also kind of falls within the category of internet. But you have to understand that people steal banners from reputable companies, steal them and put them on their own, making it look like you are receiving information from a reputable company. Don't fall victim to that. Make sure that you know who you're dealing with, because they may try to spoof that internet address to make you believe you're dealing with a reputable company when you're not. On top of that, we're all becoming comfortable with caller ID. We receive telephone calls. I know I'm a bundled customer with Spectrum Time Warner, and so as soon as our phone rings, we look at our television to see what number comes up, to see where that number is. Well, fraudsters are able to spoof those numbers to make it look like it's a call that's coming from either a local number or calling from a reputable place. Those numbers may not be from that reputable place. So take your caller ID with a grain of salt, with a little cynicism. Only answer those calls where you know who it is that is making that telephone call. Otherwise, I suggest that, one, you ignore the call, or two, let it go to your voicemail. And undoubtedly, they never leave a message. I don't know if you've had that experience. I had that experience all the time. I'm now getting more and more telephone calls to my cell phone that if I do not recognize the call, I do not answer it. And again, it's usually never a message that's left. A reputable telephone call, if I would receive a reputable telephone call, it usually will be someone who will leave me a message if they really want to speak with me. Fake checks is another big one. Fake checks can happen in a whole host of areas. Sweepstakes, those of you that are selling things online, Craigslist or any other auction sites that are used, be very careful. It's quite frequent if you are trying to sell something on the internet that you will be contacted by a scam artist who is going to try and send you a fake check. That's a check that looks really real, and they'll ask you to, well, just use this check, deposit that check, and send me back. Usually it's for more money than what the item is being sold for. And they'll tell you, well, just deposit the check, and within 2 days, your bank account will increase by the amount that you've deposited. And then they'll say, well, just send me the difference. Keep the $300 for whatever you're selling. I'll make arrangements to pick up that item, but send me back the difference. And they will never claim what you were selling for them. What they want you to do is to wire out money to them because you've deposited a check that could bounce up to 2 weeks after you deposit that check. And in the meantime, they're going to try to get you to send them cash. And when you send out the cash, you've sent out good money. However, the check you deposited is not good yet. And you will later find out that the check bounced. And when that check bounces, you are going to be responsible for any money that you withdrew. So fake checks, it could be a sweepstakes. Congratulations, you won. You have to pay fees. In order to help you pay those fees, we're sending you a check. And same thing. Deposit the check, send us the money for the fees, and therefore what you've done is deposited a check that bounces and that you've already sent the money out. Legitimate sweepstakes do not do that. They will take the money off the top, so you don't have to worry about getting money and then sending money. And the rule for that is never pay money to receive money. Just doesn't work that way. The legitimate companies don't work that way and don't fall for it. Another one of the consumerfraudreporting.org top list is recovery or refund companies. Scammers will contact you and claim that you owe money on a debt and that they're trying to recover they may even be trying to recover money that you lost from a previous scam. And they'll say, in order for us to you got scammed on that earlier thing. You sent in money to somebody. It was a scam. We've caught them. In order to get your money back to you, you have to send us some additional money or give us personal information or something like that. Well, you just got scammed again. So be very wary of those types of scams. Another big one that's out there are computer performance scams. We're hearing people getting called from others who claim they're from Microsoft and that there is a virus in your computer, and then in order they can clean it up for you, in order for you to get that cleaned up, you go to your computer. And generally speaking, what they're attempting to do is they're attempting to have you give them access to your computer through the internet. And once you give them access to your computer through the internet, they can get into your computer and embed viruses and spyware, and they can put ransomware on your computer, which means that they can lock your computer out until you pay a ransom for it. These are all scams. If you receive an email or a telephone call that they are from Microsoft, it is a scam. Microsoft is not monitoring our computers. They are not looking at making sure that we don't have viruses on them or anything like that. It is a scam. Do not reply to them. Do not go on your computer when somebody contacts you, and do not reply to an email you receive that claims that there might be a virus on your computer. Online dating scams happening all the time. People are engaging in these, for lack of a better term, virtual relationships, and they're being scammed by the person who's supposedly their new boyfriend or girlfriend. Do not fall for these things. These people may not ask you for money or personal information right off the bat. That's because they're grooming you. They want you to become their friend, become boyfriend. I can't tell you the number of times that we receive calls from people who say that they have been in contact with their fiancé, their boyfriend or girlfriend, and when we ask, they're a little hesitant to give us information. But as we get more involved in the conversation, we finally get them to admit that they have never actually physically met the person. They've only talked to them over the telephone, or they've only communicated with them over the internet. So, and it turns out that it is an online dating or romance fraud that has occurred. You have to be very wary of the people that you meet online. They have fake profiles. They may ultimately say, hey, in order for me to come to visit you, I'm in another country and I really can't come to visit you because I don't have the money. Can you send me the money? I want to visit you. Or I've heard the situation where somebody said, I really want to come to visit you, but the problem is that I have to take care of my parents, and my parents don't have a lot of money, so we can't afford someone to assist them while I'm gone. And if I had the money, I would come and visit you in a second. And people are sending out money thinking that they're going to be visited by the new love of their life, but be very careful about it. These are all scams. Next, similar along the same lines, fake friends on Facebook and other social media sites. Be very careful about who you allow to be your friend. On Facebook, make sure that you know them before you accept them being your friend. It allows them to have access to the information that's on your Facebook page. It allows them to post fake news on other sensational stories on your Facebook page. Be very careful about that. Medical alert scams. I know I've received that. You get a telephone call or text message to get a medical alert bracelet or something. Be very careful about that. And other similar types of scams. There are a whole host of them that are out there. It's impossible to go through every single one here, but there are some general rules. Be very wary and cynical about emails that you receive or other communications that you receive. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Do not respond to emails, text messages from someone that you don't know. All these scams, and I've said it here many times, are a new one all the time. It's like scam du jour. It's just a new one. And people are exploiting what is happening at any particular time and twisting it to make it into a scam. For example, what's a big issue that's going on right now that scam artists can exploit? Well, I'll use some. April of every year, IRS scams, tax scams, because that's the foremost that are in our minds. Currently, what's a big thing that's going on? Currently, as we speak, it's healthcare issues. It's being argued about in Congress. It's in the news every day, whether the current Trump administration can change or wants to change the Obamacare and the American Health Act, the Affordable Care Act, and so there's this big debate and whether it should be eliminated or modified or nothing done, and the whole thing. So it's at the forefront of our minds. And not even taking on the issue of what's better or worse, or should we do it or not do it, and who's going to get care and who's not. The scam artists sit there saying, wow, this is a great issue because it's at the forefront of everybody's mind. Let's exploit that issue so that we can create a scam. And they could be sending emails out for people about healthcare and asking for personal information. And because it's in the forefront of our minds, we're responding to these sorts of things, which is great for the scam artists. Regardless of what is going on, we'll fall back to the adage that we started with, which is do not give out information or respond to requests for information from someone we don't know. Regardless of what the topic is, regardless of how current it is, do not respond. Do not send money. Do not send out personal information, because in a lot of instances, is someone exploiting that thing that is in the news to create a scam. If you believe that there may be a scam or something out there, feel free to contact our office, the New York State Attorney General's office. You can call us. We have consumer fraud representatives available to discuss those with you. If you want to file a complaint with our office, you can feel free to file a complaint. Or just if you want to let us know that there is something out there that may seem to be new or unusual, because that helps us stay on top of this. We can investigate a little bit and see if, in fact, it is a scam or not. And that way, you can assist us in helping to protect consumers from avoiding scams in the future. If you ever had a question related to a scam or fraud, or even if it wasn't, if you had a problem with a business, feel free to contact our office, the New York State Attorney General's office. Also, come down and join us here at Cornell Cooperative Extension. Again, as we talked about at the beginning, we're here on the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. On Willow Avenue. Please come down and join us. It's always great when we have those in the audience who can assist us, raise questions, and that sort of thing. Also, I know that Cornell Cooperative Extension has a consumer helpline. You can feel free to call that. They have people who will give unbiased, independent information to you calling in. And again, please join us on our consumer issue program. We'd be glad to have anybody come down to help us. We talk about various topics throughout the course of the year. Cornell Cooperative Extension can give you information on what our topics are in upcoming events. They also have consumer issue programs that they put on, helping people with financial literacy and other topics. So avail yourself of it. It's a great community resource. So again, thank you very much on behalf of the Attorney General's office, and we hope that we'll be able to see you come down and join us one of these Thursdays. Thank you.